continuously being generated by AI. You give it a single frame, and you give it context of what's in that frame, it's going to use that context, the color tones, everything, to continue to generate along the way. And then, over here, you'll see there are a few different elements within the scene that you can say, incorporate these things along the way. So this is interesting research that's being done because it can assist in the content creation process. It can assist in the advertising or the publishing process. It can support AR, VR, and MR-based experiences moving forward. So this is kind of interesting. We all know the Windows desktop, maybe? So if we were to click on here, this is taking the Windows desktop and inserting 5 keyframes. We're saying start here at the Windows desktop, but over here, I want this to be a lake. So as this scene is being generated, as it pans, you're going to slowly see elements within the environment here start to change towards a lake. And we'll just wait here for a moment, and you'll see it creep in. So it's using all this interpolation around the context of the image itself to start to assist with these tasks. And yeah, so you can go to this site, it's nua-infinity.microsoft.com, and play with it. These things are going to stay for you to play with and start to brainstorm how you can incorporate it. Let's see here. We're going to go back, and I'm just going to show a few other things here. Okay. There we go. So you may be familiar or not, we're working on, with NVIDIA and other partners, things like audio to gesture and audio to face. Audio to gesture, I don't know about you, but I use my hands a lot when I talk. It's a problem. But there's a lot of science and research around what are the types of hand movements that people use when they talk about certain things, when they're feeling certain things. And so audio to gesture is taking speech, the tone in the speech, the context of the speech, and it's then mapping it to hand gestures. So if you create a character, an animated character perhaps, those animated characters have rigging on them. The rigging, think of a puppet, right? The rigging of the hands, of the legs, of the face, etc. So artists, it takes a really long time to do some of this. And so using speech, you can now drive the rigging of nonverbals, right? Of the skeletons of those characters. Also drive some of the speech and facial patterns. Real-time ML clothing, I think you saw there. Digital Domain and many other studios have been working on being able to apply a variety of different digital assets, digital clothes, to a character. How can you help support and accelerate that process and provide these as additional tools to the artist for them to continue to work on their craft and accelerate some of the content creation along the way. Omniverse, you guys may have heard of from NVIDIA as a platform. We're doing a lot of work with Omniverse in terms of scene creation. Anyone here working with Omniverse as a platform? Or no? I'll show just a couple other things here. There's a lot of work being done on the digital human side of the house. Real photorealistic versions of ourselves. This isn't just in the content creation process and entertainment. I had a conversation with a retail customer, a global makeup company, and I looked across the screen and I said, "You look familiar." They said, "You look familiar." And they had just come from a very large animation company here in Burbank. They were working at a global cosmetics company creating digital humans to allow customers to create a digital human version of themselves so that they can try makeup on in the virtual world. On the back end of all the visual effects and rendering that we do is a process of denoising frames. It takes a long time for artists to review these frames and to denoise them. I have friends who are artists. They do not like the process, and it takes a long time. Last week I was in Italy at the View conference and was on a panel session with Pixar and AMD. Pixar had just released a new version of RenderMan, and in it is an AI-based component. It's a denoising engine, right? That denoising engine now is part of the pipeline and in line, so to speak, so that it can use AI to determine probability of noisy frames and begin to denoise those on the fly, saving a lot of time for the artists and freeing them up to go do a lot more of the work that they want to do. They also happen to be a pretty expensive resource. These two at the bottom, same thing, just an example. These are more related to speech. Anyone see Top Gun Maverick? Yeah, I just watched it on the plane home. I don't know why I keep watching it over and over again. So Val Kilmer, you guys may know, has been ill, lost his voice. And as part of being in Top Gun Maverick, his character, they actually infused as part of his character him being ill and not being able to speak. So Semantic had gone back and used Val's previous performances to process his speech pattern. What you hear in Top Gun Maverick when Val Kilmer speaks is actually AI.